Bus TV. Now, for this perspective, we are looking at Buruli Ulcer and an interesting project that has come up, initiated by a very pretty lady, one of our own at ETV Ghana here. I'm talking about Mrs. Doe, who is the project coordinator, Thando project. She'll tell us more about the project. But Buruli Ulcer, Ghana has been rated as the second in the whole world, second most endemic country with Buruli Ulcer infection. The whole wide world, Ghana is rated second, number 2, which is not a good thing at all. Mrs. Doe, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. No, thank you so much, Patrice.
You're looking so
You're pretty yourself.
Thank you. Now, let's come to this project which you are undertaking, Buruli Ulcer project. First of all, you're the brainchild. It's your brainchild. What pushed you, what motivated you to come up with such a project?
I think, to be honest, initially it was curiosity. I'd never heard of the disease Buruli Ulcer from where I'm from in Southern Africa. And I came to Ghana and I watched a documentary on GTV and I saw this man who looked like a burn victim, like he had been burnt, only to discover that it's a disease that is common here. And it's one of the 13 neglected tropical diseases in the world. And I thought to myself, I have to do something. I may not be wealthy or rich, but I could get people to get involved and we do something for these patients.
Okay. Now, looking at Ghana ranked second in the whole world with cases of Buruli Ulcer, what struck you immediately?
What struck me immediately was that it affects people who are under the age of 15 more than any other age group. And for me, those are children. I mean, how would you feel knowing that you have a scar that's not healing, or it heals eventually because it can heal, and you're scarred for life, and you go through life with these scars and you can't afford plastic surgery? You find West Africa and the rest of the world really, but in West Africa, a lot of money is poured into malaria and to HIV. But these neglected tropical diseases, I think it's one thing for them to be neglected out there by those who have better economies than Ghana, but for Ghanaians themselves to go and neglect the patients, I think for me it breaks my heart, because for a lot of people, they think that Buruli Ulcer is a curse.
So there's this sort of
stigma,
superstition, myth around it.
Whereas, yes, truth be told, no one knows how it's transmitted. No one knows how people get Buruli Ulcer, but it's been found. More cases have been found. The Ga West district has the highest cases in Ghana.
In areas usually where water is not well treated?
Slow-moving water bodies. But recent research has also realized that recently dug up ground mining areas are also registering a lot of cases. I was really struck by the lady you just spoke to, the lady who was here talking about the child labor
from Human Rights Watch,
and it dawned on me that that is why that age group is really affected, because these children are there trying to get an income, and they'll get affected. They'll definitely get that germ.
Okay, so let's come to your project, Thando. I was wondering, what is Thando?
It's Thando.
Thando
means love. So it's a love project.
Okay.
Basically, what the project seeks to do is it's got 3 main objectives. The first objective is to improve the quality of life of the patients. Now, that on its own has 5 areas. Buruli Ulcer patients, most of them are at Amasaman Hospital. I'm sure most people know about that place. And they're having challenges. I'm doing this project in conjunction with Dr. Ampedu from the National Buruli Ulcer Control Unit. Yeah. So he took me on a tour there. I spent time talking to the nurses, to the patients, and to the teaching staff. And, they're there for a long time. They're having a problem with their theater. The anesthetic machine is no longer working.
So resources at the National Buruli Ulcer Center, which is at Amasaman, is a problem.
It's a problem. So what's happening is, because they can't have surgery there, a lot of patients are staying in the hospital longer than they really ought to. 8 weeks of antibiotics cures 80% of the cases. But most of the patients are forced to stay in the hospital for a long long time. So improving the quality of life of the patients, one area is the wound care, getting bandages, antiseptics, or the anesthetic machine that they need, the stretcher bed that they need, nutrition. Some of these patients come from as far as the northern region. I met a young girl there, she's 10 years old, her name is Salah. She's from the northern region. And eating every day is a problem. And the nursing staff was telling me that sometimes they have to do contributions to help the patients. So there's a kitchen there that was built specifically for Buruli Ulcer patients.
Okay, now if you're wondering what Buruli Ulcer is, my director, if we are ready, we have footage of some of the cases that have come up. You want that some of the visuals are of gory nature, if I should put, they are graphic in nature. So if my director is ready, if you can show us some of the pictures of Buruli Ulcer cases that have come up.
These pictures are dangerous. Oh, yeah. Oh no.
Okay, so we are just about seeing some of the visuals that, so these are some of the areas where victims were affected by Buruli Ulcer. Now, Mrs. Dave, you can tell us more as we see the pictures here.
Yeah, that is like a serious case that has gone, that's a major ulcer. I want to emphasize though that is not the first way of recognizing this condition. It really starts with a lump on your skin that is painless, and it leads to an ulcer that is still painless, but when it gets to this stage, it's very, very painful. It gets to be very, very painful.
So it means at this stage it has gone out of hand.
You see, and a lot of people, when it starts as an ulcer or it starts as a lump, they ignore it. And they rub it, they'll go to maybe a prayer camp. There's nothing wrong with praying, but they'll go round and round in circles until it starts to really spread. And it eats your tissue. The bacteria that causes a Buruli ulcer is called the Mycobacterium ulcerans. It's the same bacteria that causes leprosy and tuberculosis. But the difference with Buruli ulcer is that it eats your tissue.
So it
and
eats
the
bone,
skin, and it starts
right
to eat
into the bone. Wow.
So the issue is recognize the symptom early and get it checked out before we get to this stage.
How has for your campaign, how has public education been so far?
Well, it's always, people are always shocked, but it's something that's been around since the first case of Buruli Ulcer in Ghana was in 1971. So this is
from 71 till now, we're still
a lot of
cases.
people don't know. So I'm basically here to say, let's love them, stop shunning them. Just because you don't see them out in the streets, some people choose to forget that they exist. Buruli Ulcer patients are there. They need food. I need food, I need sanitary wear, I need wound care products. I need my fellow media practitioners to take time and focus on this disease and raise awareness. Media advocacy is seriously needed for this. And I'm also looking for a telecom partner. What we want to do is to have the various regions. If a medical person sees a suspected case, they'll take a picture of it and send it to a center in Accra that will evaluate and decide whether the patient needs to be checked out by Noguchi for a sample to confirm if it's Buruli Ulcer. So I'm really looking for a lot of partners to come on board in terms of improving the quality of life of the patients, in terms of improving and raising awareness, and improving the data collection system in the country right now of current and suspected cases.
Okay, so if there's any corporate entity out there who which has been touched by this project that you actually want to take up, how can they contact you?
They can get in touch with me on 020-516-7153. That's 020-516-7153. They can catch me on Twitter on my Twitter handle at Larry Nossi. They can send an email to eradicate Buruli Ulcer in GH. Okay, that's very long.
Just take it slowly a bit
That
more.
is very long, I know, because my motto and my motto of this whole project is we want to eradicate Buruli Ulcer in GH. So it's eradicate Buruli Ulcer in GH at yahoo.com.
Whoa.
That's
a whole mouthful.
That is a mouthful, but we
But it's
really,
worth it.
really need a lot of awareness and a lot of help for these patients. We shouldn't shun them. It's not a curse. It's something that's beyond them. No one knows how they got it, so don't blame them. Don't be disgusted by the images and stay disgusted. Be disgusted and move to and take action.
What has been the response of Kolebu so far to this project?
Oh, it's intense. I mean, they're working really hard. Dr. Ampedu, I have to say, they're working really hard. And the teachers, you know, the hospital has a school because the kids are there for long periods of time. People are really coordinating very well. And
Okay.
I want to partner with them and help them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thando. Lots of Thando.
Lots of love.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Thando project is on to eradicate Buruli Ulcer totally from Ghana. If we're able to eradicate Guinea worm, then Buruli Ulcer should be our next project to eradicate totally from our nation, Mother Ghana. And I've been speaking with the project coordinator, Mrs. Ayura Doe. Yes, who is the project's name is Thando Project. Thank you so much. It's Breakfast TV. We'll be right back.